The UK and the US might have their similarities, but scratch below the surface, and you'll find two very different nations indeed, because US visitors, or those from the States who take up residence in the UK, might find themselves surprised by some of the things they can do on one side of the pond that would be a no-no over there, either legally, culturally, or simply on a practical level. So here are 10 things you can do in the UK, but you can't do in the US. Number 1, jaywalking. Let's kick off with something you might well do in the US, but technically you shouldn't. Jaywalking, the act of crossing the road outside of the crosswalk or against the lights, is illegal in many US states, and while many places don't bother to enforce the rule, you could still face a fine if you're caught doing it. Over in the UK, meanwhile, while crossing the road in this manner is not encouraged, there's no law against it. Number 2, eat a Kinder Egg. The humble Kinder Egg, that sweet treat which provides you with both chocolate and a surprise plastic toy. What's not to like? Well, they might be widely available in the UK, but in the US, they're a big no-no. Due to the 1938 Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act, which bans items containing a non-nutritive object in food, all of which makes them persona non grata, given the plastic casing hiding the toy beneath the chocolate. Oh, and even though you can get them in neighboring nations, such as Canada and Mexico, it's also illegal to import them, so don't even think about it. Number 3, watch live TV without adverts. TV advertising is big business in the US, with the network's fare dominated by one ad after another. According to the Mock, advertising agency ads take up around 12 to 17 minutes of every hour of live US TV, which is an awful lot of commercials when you're trying to watch a half-hour show. Over in the UK, well, we have telly ads too, but equally, we can also settle down in front of BBC channels, which might bombard you with trailers for other shows between programs, but still remain resolutely ad-free. Number 4, drink alcohol under the age of 21. Heading down the pub and ordering your first pint or glass of bubbly on your 18th birthday is a rite of passage for many in the UK, but it's not something you can do to celebrate turning 18 in the US. There, the legal drinking age is 21, as set by the Federal Uniform Drinking Age Act of 1984, although there are some exemptions across the country, such as drinking alcohol for religious ceremonies or for medical purposes. Some states also allow under 21s to drink if they are with a family member who is above the legal age, but the rules vary from one state to another, so it's always best to double-check if you have any trips planned, which might involve a pint or two. Number 5, have a black pudding with your fry-up. This might be a popular staple of your standard UK fry-up, but you'll struggle to find black pudding to pop with your eggs and bacon if you're cooking up a breakfast in the US. The official line is that black pudding imported from other parts of the world is a no-no for sanitary reasons. Although US versions of the dish, known there as blood sausage, do exist, even if it's not quite the same. Number 6, get medical treatment for free. Need medical treatment in a hurry. Have to have surgery. If you're in the US and a hospital stay or a trip to the doctor figures in your future, then chances are it won't come cheap. While free or low-cost healthcare is available for certain groups, such as low-income families or people with disabilities, for the most part, if you get sick or need treatment, it could put a serious dent in your bank account, especially if you don't have health insurance. In the UK, you might have a bit of a wait, but as long as you are ordinarily resident in the UK, you can get the vast majority of medical treatment for free on the NHS. Number 7, walk everywhere. So we're not saying nobody walks anywhere in the US. Think big cities such as New York, for example, but there are still many more places there, which are only accessible by car, while 2023 research from Virginia Tech and Rutgers University found that just 12% of all trips in the US are walked. In the UK, meanwhile, we're far more accustomed to hopping on the bus, taking the tube, or just walking to the local high street or wherever we want to go. So much so that one expat on Reddit admitted the thing they missed most about the UK was it being normal to walk about. A second added, "Much of the US is definitely not designed with pedestrians in mind." Number 8. Take maternity leave. If you're awaiting the patter of tiny feet and you happen to be in the UK, well, you're in luck. It means you can look forward to several months of maternity leave to bond with your new arrival, which can vary depending on where you work and what they offer. In the US, though, it's a different story, and one which hasn't escaped the notice of Brits living there. When I tell Americans I get 12 weeks, they exclaim how lucky I am, one said. I then tell them that in the UK, I would have got 9 months, including time off before the baby to get ready. Here I was in labor at work, finished my shift, and gave birth the following morning. And as an added bonus, you get to give birth for free in the UK, thanks to the NHS. Whereas in the US, you can expect a big hospital bill, which is likely to spiral even further if you need interventions such as a C-section. Number 9. Carry a beer in your car. This is a bit of an odd one, but if you're driving in the UK and your passengers have a bottle of beer or other alcohol in an unsealed container, nobody would bat an eyelid, unless you're drinking and driving, which is of course highly illegal and dangerous. In the US, however, the mere act of having the open bottle in your moving vehicle, even if you're not drinking it, or none of your passengers are, is enough to get you arrested. This is down to the open container laws across much of the US, which prohibit possessing or consuming an open bottle or can of alcohol in public. Number 10. Tuck into haggis. Finally, let's pay a debt to the humble haggis, the staple of any Burns night supper, because while it might be acceptable in the UK, you'll have to find an alternative if you're celebrating in the US, since haggis is definitely off the menu there. This is largely due to a 1971 law which prevents the sale of sheep's lungs, which make up around 10 to 15% of the traditional recipe. The ban refers to all lungs, amid concerns that phlegm and stomach acid could enter them during slaughter. That's not to say you can't get haggis in the US at all, as makers have got round the ban by using other ingredients such as lamb meat rather than offal. But the authentic Scottish recipe, you'll have to get on a plane and head to the UK if you want it. Do you find it weird? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.